Finally, I am sharing again a little about my gallbladder stuff. Um, so I told you guys about what my doctor had said with, doing surgery and stuff like that. It was recommended. Surgery was something that immediately came, and I really was not happy with it. I've had other people who told me, well, Ron, if you do surgery, make sure it's like life and death. Um, because your body, you have a gallbladder for a reason, even though a lot of other folks did tell me, take it out, you can function without it. um I read up a lot, and I tried to talk to a lot of people. A lot of people here around me don't have their gallbladder, and most of them, like 75% of them, did tell me that everything was going to be all right. Just take out your gallbladder and you will have like no pain, you'll be fine, you could eat whatever you want. And for some reason, that just did not work for me. I don't know if it wasn't because I could not accept, I think that's it, I could not accept the fact that God gave me a gallbladder and I'm being told that I don't need it. I know it's not working the way it should be, and that's my fault. Everything that's on me. So I decided to read up about diets and things. Now I did check up about like to see if I could work on doing things to help my body to heal and necessarily like reverse the situation, like clear it. However, they told me I have sludge in my gallbladder. One person told me a lot of times when they say you have sludge in your gallbladder, it is because it could also be gallstones, and the sludge is hiding the stones. Now you don't want it to eventually become to a point where the stones go and block a duct, and then you have to really get surgery because of something. So a lot of times people go and take out their gallbladder. I've heard from one or two persons where they said they got medication to melt it, their sludge. My doctor told me that does not exist. I did call another doctor who did tell me, well, they don't have anything clinically to say that it removes it, but they have medication that you can take to try to help remove the sludge. But generally, you take surgery. Now, the few persons who told me, don't rush to take out my gallbladder, told me about things that they were suffering from that was a cause. They told me that one friend, she actually told me she ended up with pancreatitis because they did something when they went in that affected her pancreas. They snipped something, cut something. My doctor did tell me, not my doctor, the doctor I visited told me I have to sign a waiver, because some of those things do happen by chance. It's how much percentage out of 100, 100%. It's like very minimal, but that can happen. And guess what? That actually happened to one of my friends. A week later, I spoke with another friend who moved out of state. And I said, hey, they're recommending that I do a gallbladder surgery. I know you posted your experience. She said, Rona, right now, I'm in recovery because I had pancreatitis. They did something when they took out my gallbladder, and now I nearly died. My family had to rush me to emergency. She was like, I don't want to tell you don't take it out, but if it's not life and death, be very careful with doing surgery. So that's 2% out of that minor percentage that my doctor told me. I literally was like, oh, so literally overwhelmed. And I literally had a deadline because this was between COVID time and the hospitals were limiting surgeries. And my doctor, this doctor who was going to do this, kept pushing me. Well, if you need to do the surgery, these are the only times they're available. After this, I'm booked out. And she kept pushing and pushing. I was like, I'm not ready for this. I don't want to do this. And so I went and I did a lot of reading up on what I could do to help myself. And this is with my gallbladder. This is not with my gastritis or anything like that. Strictly my gallbladder. And backing up a little, anything that is too salty or fatty, actually, sorry about that, my phone. I think I have it on loud here. It messes up your gallbladder. it acts it up. You see, it feel like a really bad pain here that emanates into your back. Sometimes you can get shoulder pain. Now, of lately, I don't get the shoulder pain or this pain in my, like, up somewhere up here. Before I did. I do get sometimes a pain inside here because I've noticed that if I eat anything that recently I tried something that was spicy and I didn't realize it was spicy until I tried it. I did get a pain here that emanated in my back, and I do get it sometimes. I also found out that when you eat vegetables that are hard to digest, or eat actually any food that are hard to digest, you can get pain. Hence why with me eating beef, it's fatty, but it's also hard to digest. Also, that affects my stomach, which is another story, but those are some of the things. And remember, everything here supposed to work in unison together. So when one malfunctions, the other one could malfunction because they all depend on each other. Which brings me to another point that an old friend told me. She's like, be prepared, if you do take out your gallbladder, you cannot eat salads. You have to cook all your vegetables and fruits and even provisions like carrots, broccoli. Everything has to be almost smushed to eat it, because your pancreas, which usually digests those things, has to now overwork itself since you take out your gallbladder. And so you could end up with pancreatitis or cancer in your pancreas because of taking out your gallbladder. And she's known people who have, suffered with that. So I decided I was not going to take out my gallbladder unless I have to. So that's the decision I've made against advice from family members, not immediate, but like other people that's in my family and friends, to take out my gallbladder. I am choosing to not do that and try to avoid fatty stuff and just make my digestion simpler. Now, I love a salad, and I really, really, really love salad. Like, that I think is one of the things I like to go to eat. But I limit how much stuff I eat in terms of salads, and I try not to overdo it. But I do get pains ever so often with it. But one thing that I've cut out almost entirely is fatty stuff. And I don't also use a lot of processed food. Randomly, like I bought a chips. If you saw my Dollar Tree haul, I'm not sure if it's going to go up before this or after this, but I bought some chips, and I'll take that sparingly, and I don't try to eat a lot of salty foods. Now, I also don't, like how you use oil when you're frying up foods, or like if you're doing a stir fry, use oil. I do not do that. What I do is actually use water, make sure my water is like boiling, rolling, and that's when I saute stuff. A lot of times no one can tell the difference, really and truly. Like my family, they don't tell the difference anymore because the crunch is still there, the flavor is still there. It's just not using up a lot of oil. And so I want to urge you, if you have a similar situation to me, or if you've, a lot of times people don't realize the pain that they're getting here. Sometimes you think it's something with your chest or your lung. Like I remember somebody told me they thought it was their heart and stuff like that initially, and they went and did a bunch of tests for their heart, and they found their heart was okay, but they just did not find it was their gallbladder that was the problem. I just try my best to take care of what I eat. Now, I know friends, like I was telling my family today, that we actually had a tornado situation a couple days ago, and they urged us to go into shelter. One of my friends posted that she was just making a pizza, and she had to run into her safe spot with a slice of pizza in her hand. She also suffers from her gallbladder, and she is looking to do surgery sometime around next couple weeks. And she's eating a slice of pizza. She also has gastritis and bad acid reflux. She's eating a pizza with just tomato sauce and cheese. Ton of cheese. I was like, girl, of all the things you're going to eat, she's like, well, that's what she had in her house, and that was what she was doing. One of the things I think that helps you so much is to not have those things around so that you can be tempted. For me, I prepared for the rest of my family, but I don't get tempted. Why? Because I know the pain I feel. I know what I go through at night. So right after you eat, like not right after you eat, in about 30 minutes to an hour, you can get that pain. But you could also get a relapse when you go to lie down to rest. Sometimes that pain comes and it's overwhelming. I sleep with a heating mat a lot of times because that helps with it, and I've gotten so accustomed now to the heating mat to sleep with it, and I just cannot put myself through that. Really and truly, I cannot see myself just eating something and then say I will deal with the pain, or then try to take a medication. One of my friends did give me a bottle of something she took for before she took out her gallbladder. So she said her doctor prescribed it to her, and if she eat anything and she gets pain, take it. It'll let the pain go away in about 15 minutes. It's actually a heart medicine from what I read up on it, and it has some side effects and stuff like that. I just decided that I am not going to do that. The only thing that I splurge on would be like salads. And reason being that why I will bear up with a little of the pain from salads is because I know the salads also put certain amount of nutrients in my body that I am not getting from some of the other things that I eat. So that when I do that, I get some of the minerals and vitamins and certain electrolytes into my body that it needs. And I tell myself, okay, may get a little pain, but I mean nothing dramatic that I'm cringing bad. I can sit and watch a movie and stuff. I also realize that after I eat, if I sit and relax and then I go and take a walk, that a lot of times I don't even feel the pain. And that will bring me to my next video that I will upload another time, in terms of techniques and things that you can do to help yourself when you maybe get in an attack, or if you are in an attack because you ate something, whether you are conscious or unconscious of eating it. Things that you can do to just help yourself deal with the pain. I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope that this video is able to help someone who is going through any sort of illness, or specifically dealing with stuff with your gallbladder. And if any of you have experience, I know a couple people posted in one of my earlier videos about stuff with my gallbladder that you shared your story, but please continue to share. I would love to hear from you guys, and hopefully we can be here of support and comfort to each other, to encourage each other to eat healthy and live healthy lives. Until my next video, guys.